This is Covert Agent Ravage, and you are watching another Malwave Transformers review.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the third day of Ravage Week. Obviously, as I mentioned last week, we're going to be covering a figure that I believe has been loosely based off of the Beast Wars Ravage. Most people, when they think of Ravage, they think of a four-footed quadruped. But there are a few figures who are bipedal. Beast Wars Ravage being one, and this one being the other. One of the two versions released in the Alternators line. Ladies and gentlemen, today we'll be looking at Transformers Alternators Battle Ravage. Now, in specific, I wanted this version for a few reasons. Number one, I am sort of a closet Corvette fan. I'm not a closet Corvette fan, but I'm at least a fan enough that I really appreciate the design and the lines of the car. And when I heard that Ravage was being turned into a Corvette, I knew I had to get it. Granted, I didn't get it until TFcon. Thank you, faustx, by the way, for that. But I still say that it was worth the wait. Actually, ironically, TFcon is where I got both Volkswagen, both Corvette molds that are actually like real characters, because you know, the yellow repaint of tracks is just tracks. The car itself, you've got opening doors, you know, standard opening doors, moving steering wheels. If I had fingernails, I could get this open. Come on. Man. Yeah! One sec. When all else fails, X-Acto knife. Now, the hood is supposed to come up. Bear in mind, yours may be a little stubborn, but you can just see it would open up and reveal the engine block. We'll deal with that later. And one thing I really do love about this vehicle mode is this. If it'll focus enough. That's a nice little touch there. Now, I'm just gonna... Small comparison here to his Alternator's mold counterpart, Trax. You can see that, well, firstly, it's a convertible toy, but also, I really do love Ravage's color scheme a lot better than Trax. I mean, you know, Trax is Trax. You know, he's a Corvette, but I don't know, Ravage looks a lot better in this. You've got different hubcaps, convertible again, the black and red. You know, he looks very sleek. So for Alternator Battle Ravage's vehicle mode, I'm going to score it a 23 out of 25. The vehicle mode works. Everything about the vehicle mode works. The color scheme, the articulate, like the various gimmicks for it, even the very small details, like the paint on the front emblem, the license plate, everything. They all gel together, and they make for a really good toy. Now, for the transformation sequence. Now, that was subtle, wasn't it? Yeah, for this one, I'm going to actually... This transformation sequence is a little interesting, so I have to zoom out completely. Hopefully give myself enough room. And now you can see my, sorry for the jump cut there, folks. I just had to, deal with something outside. Anyways, transformation for this toy. Alternators have, they have a reputation as being one of the more harder figures to transform. Having one of the more difficult transformation sequences. And Battle Ravage is about the same. What you first want to do is you want to take the hood, and again, you're going to need some sort of implement to pry out the engine, because I prefer prying out the engine first, because if you separate, these are actually will become his legs, and if you pull that apart, these tabs may break. So I just recommend doing that first. And just for the engine, I want to just fold these two pieces forward, and then pull this handle back. It helps if you have fingernails, of course. But basically, you want to fold those in and then pull that handle back. And there's Battle Ravage's gun. Set that to the side. And I want to take the doors, just open them up, and flip the car around. Take these little side panels, and I want to flip these side skirts up first. I want to take these side panels and disengage them. So just kind of push sideways, lift up, and then pull them to the side. Take the entire wheelbase here, the entire front wheelbase, and just wiggle it until these come free, and straighten out the leg. Then just rotate these down. These will just become like side armor, like samurai side armor. You know, because Ravage is a samurai. Want to fold the hood back up, fold this front section up, and then fold forward the feet, pop out the heel spurs. I said pop out the, thank you. Pop out the heel spurs. Really? It is the transformation curse. I seem to have the same thing Diancis has. Every time I try and transform on camera, something bad happens. Anyways. And there's the lower half. My arm is so tired! And just up at the top, and you can already kind of see, Ravage's head in there. But anyways, the rest of this vehicle mode is pretty simple. Just take the the back half of the car, or you want to take first, okay, I forgot one part. This little back piece behind the seats just pops out and kind of sits loose. That'll just become the housing for his missiles. You want to separate the entire back section of the car and make sure that this piece here, like the back pieces here, are out of the way completely. So like this. I'm going to separate these, fold them down. Ow, my frickin' arm! Transforming around a camera is the hardest frickin' thing to do. And you want to rotate this arm out. Oh, you want to rotate this around just so I'll rotate this around so you can actually see it. But basically, you want to take this arm, pull it out and around, and then rotate the entire shoulder pad completely around. So the wheel faces forward, and then rotate this arm at the elbow ball joint, and then just flip out the hand. Should be a little tab, so that'll let you. And the same on this side. Fold it up, around, rotate, and pop out the hand. Then you want to take these two missiles on the back, just fold them up so they fold over the shoulders. And then the last part, you want to take this cockpit here, take this little piece here, and fold it around with it. Plugs into the chest. And there you have Alternator's Battle Ravage. Now, I will say now that the transformation sequence was well worth the vehicle. Was well worth this toy. This thing is amazing. Just a quick overview of the toy. The nice black, silver, and red color scheme goes everywhere on the toy. You have a nice head sculpt, which I'll just kind of let it zoom in. Autofocus. Very nice head sculpt. Looks very much like Ravage. Also with a nice little additive, you can open his mouth. Well, you should be able to. I just can't get my finger in there. Yeah. But articulation for this toy, well, the articulation is a little lacking. The head is on a ball joint, as you can tell, but it only rotates due to the mold. The shoulder rotates about 360 degrees, depending on where this piece is. The elbow has a 90-degree pivot forward, about 90-degree pivot sideways, and a ball joint. The wrist articulation has hands, so you have a finger, and then you have the rest of the hand. There is absolutely no waist articulation. There's a thigh, ball joint for the thigh, about 90-degree pivot for the knees, double jointed knees, depending on actually where this is, the back piece, and then nothing for the feet. It's okay. It's just that the articulation is in weird places, and unfortunately that forces me to give it a score of 20 out of 25. Again, like, the articulation is fine for the toy. It's just, it's in such a weird assortment of places that it just, it feels kind of strange, some of the choices they made. Now, granted, I can understand when putting it into the Corvette body, I can understand you have to make these kind of choices, but still, they could have done something else. And unfortunately, gimmick is also a problem. The only real gimmicks that this toy has are the engine gun, which just plugs nice and securely into the hand. Then you just close the hand on it. You know, hey, he's got a gun. But the other one is on both wrists. Little slide-out arm cannons. Yeah. I don't know, it feels completely lackluster. It doesn't feel like they really tried for this toy, so I'm giving gimmick a 17. I know I'm kind of covering the gimmick pretty quick, but there's not really much to say. It's a gun and an arm cannon. Yeah. And fun factor is also not much of a help, as I also score it 17. My main reasons are that while the toy is a Corvette, and to be honest, kids will love cars. Kids love real cars. The problem is that the transformation sequence, as you saw, is one of the harder ones. Like, what's a kid gonna want? What's a kid gonna want more? Battle Ravage or something like Reveal the Shield Starscream? You know? You know, it's all a matter of transformation sequence. Not to mention, this figure is also one of the harder alternators to get your hands on. It cost me about $50 at TFcon to pick it up. And even then, I don't think, if that was what it was at retail, I don't think a parent's going to go online and pay $50 to buy their kid this. And B, even if they're in backlog, they're still going to cost $30 at least. This thing's about a Voyager-sized figure. Now, I'm not saying all alternators are not worth it. There are some that are really good. But there are some that are not worth the price point. We'll check it. Finally, as mentioned before, the articulation is in weird places. I don't think I can see a kid trying to have fun with this thing. Because in terms of all the articulation, there are only about 4 ball joints on this whole... There are only about... Looking at it, about 6 or 7 ball joints on this entire toy. It's got about the same articulation as a mid-90s Transformer. And that's not good. Especially when a kid plays with it and for some reason breaks the arm off. The arm is on a pin. The knees are on pins. The feet are on pins. The only ball joint is in here and here. These things don't count. Like they can pop off in the head. Well, the head's kind of different. If it breaks off, it'll probably break off permanently. Still, in terms of complete score, I'll give Alternators Battle Ravage a 77, my mistake, out of 100. Despite all of the flaws that I've mentioned, this toy is a very solid figure. The toy, if you really want to start an alternators collection, this thing has to be in your collection. It's a great figure. It may have some flaws, but all the flaws do not completely impede how awesome this toy is and how worthy it will be in your collection. However, I did mention something about a quadrupedal Ravage. The only focused one that we've talked about is G1 Ravage. Well, in 2009, that all changed. And tomorrow, we're going to cover that figure. So until then, this is Malwave with Alternators Battle Ravage, signing out. See you, everybody.